Hey guys, how are you guys doing? This is Jose Garcia. If you're watching this video, is because I personally sent it to you. Most likely within the next couple of days, you and I are going to have a coaching call. And guys, the purpose for this video is I wanted to explain to you the different policies, life insurance policies that you have available. That way, when we jump on the phone, you could be like, hey, you know what? I have a question about this one. I have a question about an ROP. I have a question about the permanent policy. So what I'm going to do, guys, in this video is just kind of go in depth on every single one of them. And then that way, when we talk on the phone in a few days, I could answer any questions you may have, and I can get your quotes, and I could get everything situated in order, so that way you could go ahead and get your policy. Okay? So the first policy that we have is going to be a term policy. Okay, guys? Now, the benefit of a term policy is that it's going to be the least expensive. Okay, it's going to be the cheapest policy you can actually get is going to be a term policy. The bad thing about a term policy is that it is going to expire. Okay, so I'll give you guys this example. Let's say you're 30 years old. Okay, a 30-year-old buys a term policy for 30 years. After 30 years, let's say that person's name is Mary. Okay, let's say Mary buys a policy for 30 years, and Mary passes away 25 years from today. What's going to happen is, of course, let's say she had a policy for $100,000. Her family or her beneficiaries are going to get $100,000, right? If she doesn't pass, hopefully, after 30 years, that policy is going to expire. Think of it like your car insurance, right? If you get in a car accident in 5 years, after those 5 years, is the car insurance policy going to give you that money back? No, right? Because your contract expired. It's pretty much the same thing with a term policy. So I'm going to give you guys this example. And guys, with the numbers, when it comes to the numbers, of course, it's always going to vary, depending on your age. If you're 25 years old, of course, it's going to be different from a 30-year-old. If you're 45 years old, of course, it's going to be different from a 30-year-old. So this is just a 30-year example. So a 30-year-old female gets a policy or is interested in a policy for $300,000. Okay? Now, that policy is going to be about $35 a month. Now, if that person would like, if they want to get a policy for $200,000, that policy is going to be about $30 a month. Okay, so that's just the example of a term policy. So let's move on with the ROP policy. That's the policy number 2. Now the ROP stands for return of premium. This one honestly is one of my favorite policies, and I'll explain to you guys why. Okay, so the benefit of this policy is there is a refund for the policy. The thing that's not good about it is that the policy is going to expire. Okay, same thing, just like the first one. Remember, after 30 years, the policy is going to expire. Now, this gets really, really interesting because an ROP policy, you get all of your money back. Okay, and I'm going to give you guys the CI, which is the car insurance example. Think of it like this, guys. Let's say you have Allstate for your car insurance, right? And I'm an agent for Allstate, and I give you a call, and I'm like, hey, John, hey, Mary, we have a new policy. This policy is within the next 5 years, if you get in a car accident, we're going to pay for that car accident. Okay? If you don't get in a car accident, we're going to give you all of the money that you invested within those 5 years. Would you sign up for that policy? I guarantee you your answer would be yes. All right? So again, same thing with this policy. Let's say 30 years. If in 30 years, let's say John passes away. If he passes away, his family is going to get the, $100,000 or $200,000. Okay? If he doesn't pass away, John is going to get all of that money back. All of it. Okay? It doesn't exist in car insurance, but it does exist in life insurance. Okay, guys? So keep that in mind, guys. That's honestly, I love this policy because of that reason. Think of it like a savings account. If you put $50 or $100 every single month, you're protected. Your life insurance is protected. In 30 years, if you don't pass, which, God willingly you won't, you're going to get all of that money back. The 10 or 15,000 or 20,000, however much money it's going to accumulate in 30 years, you're going to get all of that money back. So it's a great Great policy. And again, this is going to be the example that I have for you guys. A 30-year policy, guys, for a 30-year-old female, let's say $300,000, is going to be a little bit more expensive than the term. But remember, you're going to get all of that money back. So you're never going to lose a penny. Just look at it like a savings account. Okay? So again, a 30-year-old female gets a $300,000 policy. It's going to be about $121 a month. Okay? Let's say that person says, hey, you know what? I don't have $121 to invest every single month. Can we lower down the premium? I'm like, yeah, of course. So let's say that person wants a $200,000 policy. That'll be about $84 a month. Okay? So always keep that in mind. And if you guys would like, if you want me to check like $100,000, of course I could check $100,000 for an ROP. It'll be lower. So the more premium you have, the more expensive the policy is going to be. Okay? So the last policy that we have is going to be a permanent policy. Now, this policy, the benefits are these. It's never going to, so number one, I kind of missed it, but anyways, number one, it's never going to expire. Okay, so you're going to be making this payment till the day you die. Okay, but don't get scared. Okay, there's a lot of benefits to it. So benefit number one is going to be the death benefit is forever. Of course, let's say you have a permanent policy for $300,000. You pass away, your family's going to get that $300,000. You know, no questions asked. The other benefit of a permanent policy is living benefits. Okay, so you can actually tap into a percentage of your life insurance policy when you're still alive. Okay, let's say, God forbid, in 20 years, you get a terminal illness, right? You get cancer or some type of crazy illness. What you can do, let's say you can't work, you can actually tap into that policy and take out, I think it's like half of it, and you can use it while you're still alive. Okay, so that's benefit number two. Benefit number three, you're going to accumulate cash value. Okay, and let's say at the age of 65 or 60, whenever, you're going to look at how much cash value you have accumulated over 30 years or 40 years, and then you're going to be able to take out that money and use it in whatever it is that you want to use it. Let's say you want to take a vacation, you could do that. I wouldn't recommend that, but again, you could do that because there's going to be a cash value. There's a cash value incentive in there. It's going to be like a retirement. Look at that like a retirement thing, right? And of course, it's going to be tax income free. And the thing that I love about this policy, guys, is that, when it comes to accumulating cash value, for me personally, I think I get like 47 or 49 cents at Bank of America for having a few $1,000s in my savings. Every month, they give me 46 cents. I'm like, really? I have, however many $1,000 in there, and you just give me 49 cents, like, come on. Why? Because the percentage is super small. But when it comes to like a life insurance policy, over time, guys, it's going to be able to accumulate up to about 7%. So think about it. Instead of 0.111% at Bank of America, think about getting 7% in cash value over time. Okay? So that's going to be, those are the three benefits of the permanent life insurance policy. Okay? So this is an example of the policy. Like I said, it's permanent. Okay? So it's not going to be a 30-year plan. It's not going to expire. It's going to be permanent. It's going to be forever. So let's take the same example. A 30-year-old female wants a permanent policy for $300,000. That policy is going to be about $171 a month. Okay? Let's say that person wants a $200,000 policy. Cool. That policy is going to be about $114 a month. Okay? So, and like I said, guys, you guys can always let me know. Be like, hey, you know what, Jose? I'm really interested in a permanent policy, but can you maybe put it at $100,000? Or if you want, hey, you know what, Jose? I'm doing really good right now financially. Can you bump up a permanent policy to $500,000? Be like, yeah, sure. And then I'll just calculate the numbers, and then we'll just go from there. Okay? So again, guys, those are the three different policies. These are the three different policy options that you have available. And what I did here is I did a cool little example of how you can look at each policy. So look at the term policy, like if you're, if it's a Honda or a Toyota. right? It's a sedan. It's a cool car. It gets you from point A to point B, which that's exactly what you want when it comes to a life insurance policy, right? That's what's going to happen with a term policy. Now, an ROP, look at it like a Lexus, right? Or a BMW or a Mercedes. Something that is going to be a lot better than, let's say, a Toyota or a Honda when it comes to your policy, okay? Why? Because it's going to give you a little bit more cushion. It's going to give you, you're going to be able to get all of that money back. Remember, the term policy is going to expire, but it is the cheapest, okay? The ROP is also going to expire, but you're going to get all of that money back, okay? So think about that. The number 3 policy, of course, is going to be the permanent policy, which it doesn't expire. And I want you guys to look at maybe, hey, you know what? That's like the Ferrari, right? That's like the Lamborghini of policies. So whenever we jump on the phone and I ask you, hey, Mary, hey, John, what policy would you like to drive? You're going to be like, hey, you know what? I'm really digging the Lexus. Hey, you know what? I really want a Ferrari. I want to drive the Ferrari. Can we play with those numbers? Can you run me some quotes? Yeah, of course. Right? So those are, again, that was just like a little summary of the different options of policies. Now, what I wanted to do, guys, I'm almost, I'm going to try to wrap up the video, is a lot of people may be asking, do I really need a policy? Okay, do you really need a policy? Right? Think about it. Do you? Well, think of it like this. Of course, you guys saw the video that I sent you, right, with the girl who was 22 years old and she was involved in a collision, or she got hit by a car, she passed away, she left her 2-year-old son, and she had a life insurance policy. For those of you guys that have kids, you guys should really, really take that video and that story into account. So here's something else that I want you guys to understand. As you get older, the policies are going to become more expensive, okay? Let's say you are, right now I'm 27 years old. If I want to get a policy at the age of 45 or 50, I'm going to be paying over half of the amount for that policy, okay? So for those of you guys that may be saying, well, I'll get one in 10 years, I'll get one in 20 years. That's good. You won't be making that investment in it right now. But let's say you have a plan of doing it in 10 years. God forbid you were to pass in 5 years. What would happen to your family? Think about it, especially if you're like the breadwinner of the family. If you're the one that brings in the most income, the one that pays the rent, pays the bills, buys the groceries, all of that stuff. Imagine if that income is completely wiped out. Imagine. What's going to happen with your wife, with your spouse, with your kids, right? Think about that. Think about that, guys. The other crazy thing that, I did a lot of research on, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, deaths in the family, how much does a funeral cost? From my research, thank God I haven't experienced it yet. From my research, it's about $7,000 to $10,000 for a funeral. Just the funeral. Okay? It's like, guys, like for me personally, guys, I don't want my family to go out there, if something was to happen to me, to be trying to do a GoFundMe account, trying to do a car wash, trying to do like little things and going to doors and asking, hey, my son, my daughter, whoever passed away, do you have a little bit of money to help for the funeral? Like, I personally wouldn't want that, guys. I wouldn't want my family to go through that. Okay? Think about it. If you're asking yourself, do I really need a policy? Ask yourself, do you really want your family to try to have a GoFundMe account? Or try to have a, car washes? Like, it's just an idea, right? Think about that, guys. So, again, as you get older, it's going to be more expensive. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys is one of my personal stories. Okay, a lot of you guys know what I do for a living. Okay, I'm a police officer. I work for the state. It's a great job. It's a cool job. When was it? I think it was a couple months ago. I got a call of a traffic collision with ambulance rolling, and I had to go help out the people that had crashed. And I'm with one of my partners, and as we're driving, I get up to about 90, 95 miles an hour, and I'm driving a Charger, which is good. So I'm driving, lights, sirens, everything. I'm just, going because I need to get there. I need to help out the individual that are hurt because that's what the call came in. Hey, there's injuries. Hey, there's people that need help. So we got to get there like now. Okay? So I'm driving on the 101 westbound by Las Virgenes, kind of where I live. And next thing you know, I'm going 95 miles an hour. For some reason, I look down at my gauge and the tire sensor comes on. And I'm like, whatever. I turn it off. I'm like, I'm going. I got a purpose, right? Maybe 5 seconds later, boom, my rear tire blows out. It blows out completely. I look at my driver's side mirror and I just see the tire just fly out. Like, it was a pretty scary moment, honestly. Next thing you know, the car just started swerving. And again, I remind you guys, I'm going 95 miles an hour. So it's like, I'm trying to control the car. Thank God we get a lot of training. Thank God, we know how to counter steer, do all this other cool stuff with the cars. And thank God I didn't crash. Luckily for me, one of my coworkers, he was right behind me. And as we're going, he saw what had happened and he started doing a brake, right? He started doing this so that cars that are going next to us don't hit me. Okay, so he started doing a brake. I was able to maintain control of the car. I went all the way to the right shoulder and I called it in. I had FSP, the service patrol guys, come in and help me change the tire, jump back in the car, and go handle my call because it's in my area. It's in my beat. So I still went over there and I still took care of the call. When I got there, the guy was already at the hospital. His head had gone into the windshield, and there was a like the outline of his head was on the windshield. And he had long hair, so there was a couple of hairs like sticking out. So anyways, guys, the purpose of this story is that I am currently, I have a daughter on the way. So when that happened to me, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what would have happened if, let's say the car would have flipped, something bad would have happened, and I wouldn't have made it out of that situation? Would my daughter be okay? My daughter's going to be born next month. Okay? My daughter wouldn't know her dad to start. I'm 27. I don't have to be 55 to have an accident. I don't have to be 60 to have an accident. Right? 27. Just like it happened to me, it could happen to one of my coworkers who's 22. Okay? So you guys never know. So when that happened to me, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? If something was to happen to me and I was to pass, okay, but I do not want my family to struggle. I at least want my family for a year or 2 years to be okay. For them to be able to be like, you know what? We have to figure this out. It gives them a little bit of cushion to be able to survive for a few years. Okay? And then what did I do? I ended up, just making the decision. I'm like, you know what? I need something more. Yeah, I have life insurance at work, but I want my own life insurance. And I did. I ended up, right now I have a policy. It's a $500,000 policy, and it's the permanent policy. And I'm paying about $187 a month. Okay? And that's just me, guys. I'm not telling you guys, hey, you guys need to get a permanent policy. No. Okay? That's just, like I said, my personal story. If something was to happen to me, how many of you guys drive every single day? Right? It could happen to anybody, guys. It could happen to anybody. So my biggest thing that I want you guys to get from this training, from this little video, yes, I want you guys to understand the 3 different policies, right? The term, the ROP, and of course the permanent policy. But I also want you guys to take into account, hey, you know what? I do need this. I've never thought about it until I saw that video, from the success story. Until you see this video and you're like, you know what? I don't want my family to struggle if something was to happen to me. Okay? So that's my intention for this video, guys. And the other biggest thing is I don't want you guys to believe that I'm, trying to offer you like a permanent policy or something else. I'm really not, guys. My biggest thing is I want to help you guys. And if you guys say, hey, Jose, I am 25 years old, or I'm 30 years old, I'm 40 years old, and I have a budget of like $30 or $50. What can you do with that budget to help me? I will plug in the numbers, I'll do whatever I can, and I will help you with your budget. Okay? I don't expect you guys to pay $200 a month for an insurance or $180 or $150 or whatever. No. But $30 a month, guys, I honestly believe that is definitely doable for every single person. Why? It's $1 a day. It's about $1 a day for a life insurance. We insure our cars, right? We at least have liability in our cars. What liability do we have for our life? Nothing, right? The majority of people don't have life insurance. I believe it's like 50 or 60% of people don't have life insurance. Okay, guys? So, that's pretty much it, guys, for this short little video. I really hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you guys think when I talk to you guys. Also, my last bullet point that I have down here is if you guys have any questions, guys, as you guys watch this video, watch it 2 or 3 times if you would like. Jot down some notes and some questions. If you have a question about the permanent policy, hey, Jose, how does the cash accumulation work? Okay, cool. No, this is how it works. I could go in detail and all this other stuff, but it would be like an hour-long video. And I just wanted to keep this video short, simple, and to the point. If you guys have a question about the term policy, about the ROP, about anything, that you guys may be thinking about, you guys could just let me know. And then once we sit down and we have our coaching call, it'll take about 30 minutes to an hour or something like that. I could answer any questions you guys may have. Okay? Alright, guys. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. And I look forward to talking to you guys in a couple of days when we have our coaching call or our appointment call. Alright, guys. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.